Hello, everybody, and welcome to Four Mics, the gaming podcast about games and gaming news. We're back again, and everybody's alive, and Steve is eating something again. Is that just going to be a theme every time I switch over to the cameras? You're eating something?
In like 2 days, leave me be.
Well, whose fault's that?
Not mine.
Sounds like it's your fault.
Mine.
God damn it. Well, Doc's here with us. He may be a little sickly sounding. He apologizes for that. I'm apologizing
Hi,
for
guys. I caught the plague.
Worth.
It's also supposedly his last podcast because he has the lung cancer.
Yeah,
Which is
stage
called
4. I wanted to show up before they cut my hair off.
We appreciate you being here for the podcast and hope you will be here for the next one. Moving on. I'm gonna bring. There's a Cheyenne in the background of Steve's audio. Kojima's Death Stranding is an action game in an open world. Yeah, we're actually starting. I finished that opening banter. Well, yeah.
I'm cool with the start with that.
Okay, good. Because I didn't know what else to start with. I just kind of started.
I like that little quote underneath the title.
Also, something about sticks and rope.
Sticks and rope. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
he's like,
Kojima's
it's
awesome.
an action game that has open world multiplayer elements, and it's like, okay. Any more information than that?
No.
This is what we're starting with. Like the most stub article of all stub articles is like
The reason it's important, though, Doc, is because it's Hideo Kojima.
there's 3
That is
fucking
why
paragraphs
it
here.
matters.
I don't give a
That's why it
fuck.
matters. It's because it's Hideo Kojima.
The ultimate stub article, because literally it just... Like, this is what he said, though, and I'm starting to notice this is getting a really annoying vein that I dislike, which is people are being extremely annoyingly vague with giving enough information to help me. Like, Bungie is being the
Maybe.
exact opposite, thankfully, but...
Maybe he saw the the success of No Man's Sky and was
Like,
like,
yeah, I was about to
there we go.
No, that's just how like Kojima operates. He doesn't like
Tell
to give
them
people
nothing.
like anything about his games at all.
Tell them nothing.
So,
Maybe
ladies and
that's
gentlemen, we can confirm both sticks and ropes.
Yes.
Definitely.
Sticks and ropes, maybe. No, the maybes. We can definitely.
Sticks and stones
guarantee that
can
it is an
break your
action
bones.
Open world game.
Oh,
But
I have
Kojima will never
7
hurt you.
people
That is a
viewing.
Kojima style story, featuring some kind of online element.
And that's all we know, because that's all he's
That's
gonna
all.
tell us. But yeah,
It will use the internet.
I was treading along this line because I dislike this vague lead-in. It started to become too misleading, and it ends up with a No Man's Sky mishap where I want to slaughter production companies.
Well, he isn't saying anything about it.
I know.
That's not like No Man's Sky giving so many promises and then never
Well,
giving up.
here's
to
the
it.
problem.
Promise-
You put Hideo Kojima with any game title, and it immediately gets hype.
That's true. That is very true.
So the
There's
game
that
has
Asian guy.
hype. But this is his first game at his new production studio. Who knows how good his game developers are? Who knows how much budget
Right.
he actually
the
has to
developers
spend?
the developers from I think what's it called, Sucker Punch, and maybe some from Naughty Dog. I don't know.
Okay, well, like, I'm totally okay with him doing his vagueness once he's treaded his new water and proven his ground, but maybe he should be a little more open with his first game at a new studio.
Well, let's look at it this way. Okay. let's
Literally fucking
look at-
nothing.
Let's look at
Produced
the
by
Metal Gear
Hideo
Solid game.
Kojima. 10 out of 10.
Let's look at the one Metal Gear Solid game though that Hideo Kojima is not behind. And let's just see how many people are excited for that.
Well,
Because
people
they're
are extremely unexcited, and that's for more than just because Hideo Kojima's gone.
no, it's because of just how the game looks
Well,
from the trailers.
I was gonna
and all
say
that.
there are obviously people who don't want to do it because no Hideo Kojima. There's people who don't like how the game is. There's people who just in general don't like Konami anymore. Like,
Yeah.
Konami's proven to
Konami-
not give a shit about their
Konami
video
went on
games.
Bridge like several times, and like, hey, we're coming back, guys.
Once you
And
burn
you
the
didn't
bridge,
realize
you
it
can't.
Better than ever.
Yeah, once you've burned the bridge, you can't walk back across the bridge.
Well, no, there's a problem there. Normally a bridge is between two large mountains. They didn't just burn the bridge; they blew up both mountains. Like, there's nowhere to put the
We're
bridge.
just gonna make
Don't worry, the bridge is still standing, though.
Oh god, Delta got definitely loud for a second there.
I moved my mic a little bit closer.
Yeah, now I have to re-audio level you because you deafened me.
Anyway, I'm done.
There you
with
go,
this
better?
article. There's nothing you can say about it.
You're better. But, I mean, I can't really talk about the game. I'm just worried that, like, I get he's a good writer and he writes decent stories, but I don't know how good his production team is. I don't know how good the studio is in general. I would prefer a much more open and, like, look, this is our game, rather than this vague, backgroundy shit.
Yeah, but it's nothing new to him to do this stuff. Like, yeah, it's gonna get a lot of hype, but it has to be a good game, or else people will be like, oh, well, if he's not with fucking Konami, he's shit. So,
Look, guys, it has Norman Reedus and his
it
Norman
does have
fetus.
Norman. It does have Norman Reedus and the Norman fetus. That is true. With him wearing like a necklace with like weights on it.
Yeah. Well,
I
I
love
just-
that, Haley.
I'm just
Yeah,
arguing that, like,
I'm
when you
next.
transfer studios, transfer production things, I don't care who you are, you should be more open because it helps keep the expectations for the game at the level the game can provide.
True.
And that way, nobody ends up being like, well, Hideo Kojima sucks when he's not with Konami just because game was bad. And it didn't live up to the hype of Hideo Kojima's name being on the title.
Well, he's working with other game developers that have made amazing games in the past.
Eh,
Like, so he's working with people that they know what they're doing.
I hope so, but I haven't looked into it and probably should. But I'm just being there. Like,
I was gonna say,
who
if I
knows
were
how
you,
well
I
he
would-
works with the production team?
It's true. Especially since he doesn't speak English.
Yeah, especially since
Bit of
now
a
he's working
problem.
with an English production team and he can't directly talk to them. He has to probably go
Have a
through a
translator.
translator now. Yeah. All right. Anything else on Hideo Kojima's vague report?
Nope.
Steam's review system is changing to combat abuse. Valve will be ending business relationships with developers that continue to violate rules.
Oh?
Whoa.
Hold on now.
Valve has issued sweeping changes to the way Steam tracks user reviews, with the addition of new filters and most notably the removal of reviews based on products acquired through Steam product keys. The reasons for the latter is because the company is trying to eradicate reviews that have been incentivized or outright paid for by developers. Now there's a problem with this. Mostly, it fucks over every single game that has ever been created thanks to a Kickstarter.
That's true.
Because all of the backers rely on product keys to get the game as part of their backer rewards. And now the very people who helped back the fucking game can't review it. Their reviews don't mean anything.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
I think Steam just unintentionally stepped in a giant pile of oh shit. Because
Yeah.
a lot of people are really mad about this. And it's not like they're just doing it now. They've gone back and they have retroactively nuked every single review from product keys.
Yep.
All of them.
Damn. That's kind
Oh
of
boy.
So yeah.
Steam.
I mean,
What do?
according to Valve's analysts, games acquired via product keys are more likely to get positive review scores than those purchased direct, while the company acknowledges this might be due to enthusiasm of Kickstarter backers. To name one example, funder rewards are often distributed via product keys. The abuse is otherwise clear and obvious. Where that's the case, Valve will ban false reviews and end business relationships with developers who continue to violate rules.
Okay, Valve, show me the numbers.
Yeah.
Prove it to me.
was gonna say, could you prove that that's the
Where,
reason why? it
where are
didn't
your
review?
numbers at? Like, I love this. Like, games acquired via product keys are more likely to get positive review scores than products purchased direct.
Yeah, I doubt that.
Actually, Steam, you just got your words mixed up because the people purchasing product keys are the people purchasing direct. The people purchasing from you are purchasing from a third party. So one, you just tripped over your dick. Two, if you know that you've got a large group of Kickstarter backers that really care about this shit, why would your first solution be to just nuke everything from orbit immediately without any warning? Like, you knew that you were going to piss off a huge number of people. Like, why would you do that?
Because they're burning goodwill like they've been doing lately.
Like, I don't know if Gaben is busy in the Bahamas getting his dick sucked, but he needs to get to a computer and fucking tell his cronies that they fucked up again.
Yeah, and the other thing I've noticed is lately, if you go into certain reviews, sometimes it'll be like, this product was acquired for free above the review, or something to that effect.
Right.
Yeah,
And-
why don't you just mark the review?
Yeah, I was going to say, just mark the review, and then people can make their judgments based on the reviews that are marked and unmarked, and then come to
Well, a
an
lot of
consensus.
people even do that already. Like, people that are respectful about the reviews will say, yes, I got this through a key, take this with a grain of salt, but I really like this, or I really don't like this, depending on blank, blank, blank.
Yeah,
And
especially when YouTubers do like videos on it as well. They're usually not all of them, but most of them that I see up front saying, "Hey, this is a paid for thing, or the developer gave me the key for this, so take what you will. Just think of this as entertainment." That kind of deal. Like, I don't understand why Steam thinks that positive reviews on shit's bad. Like, I just look at the reviews overall and see how they're coming forth. Go
Yep.
from there.
What were you trying to say, Doc?
It's basically what he just said. it's nailed it. Yeah.
If
Okay.
they're really worried about the influence of this on the overall score, they could just make it so that if players got paid for keys or not paid for free, then they could just have it not affect the overall score, which it's not really going to affect it a whole ton anyways if everyone really likes the game.
Yeah, I was going to say these last two paragraphs here. This will naturally result in the score changing, if not dramatically, for a range of titles in cases where the game might have a single review written by a clearly compromised source. The game will no longer have the score at all, though the review will still be visible. Meanwhile, new filters allow Steam users to choose whether they see reviews by Steam purchasers and or key activators. Okay. Valve writes that it will continue to tweak the review system according to frequently raised concerns, such as the weakness of the Mark as Helpful system, which can sometimes make otherwise poorly performing games appear more appealing. So, I'm not entirely sure what they're doing overall, but I don't know. If they're going to start nuking Kickstarters from orbit, they may have just burned more bridges than they wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean, I already saw the system change, and they didn't even mention anything about it when they're like, look, this has a mark on it that says this was by somebody who obtained the title for free. Of course, my problem with that is, are they saying they obtained the title for free just because they have a product key? Because I've inputted product keys, and I did not obtain the title for free. I just got the product key from a second site. So, if we're marking all product keys as obtained for free, that is also an issue in my opinion. Because they aren't necessarily obtained for free. They're obtained for free compared to Steam, but that's not for free. And we may be writing off legitimate reviewers as a paid-for review when they aren't. And everybody's quiet and nobody's commenting.
Because you're talking.
Well, no, I mean you're doing good. There's not a whole lot to add. Like,
Perfect. I feel good about that, but man, it was awkward
There's
there.
nothing
Love
more
me.
to say on it. Like,
Well, I was
like,
hoping that I
shooting
was
himself in the
audible.
foot several times.
Hey man, I get on a roll all the time. I don't like after I'm done be like, oh that was awkward. No, I'm on a roll.
Well,
All
what
you
it is
motherfuckers can shut up. Like,
What it is this fucking mic cuts out, and I was hoping it didn't die.
oh no, if it, we would have said something.
Okay. I was
All right.
hoping.
What else do we have?
Yeah, next.
All right, moving on. Sony says the PC and not the Xbox pushed it to create the PS4 Pro.
Hello, this is Sony, and we're lying out our ass because this
Okay.
is obviously not true.
I don't understand. I think this is a false dichotomy. Like, so the PC and not the Xbox pushed it to create the PS4 Pro. Like,
Yeah. Did you
Why-
did you
why
listen
is
to
one
Boogie's
or-
video?
yeah. Well, what I'm saying is, why would one or the other, like, push you to make a product this close to the previous generation? Like,
I'm thinking for stats wise. You're going
Okay.
for.
I was gonna say technology.
we'll
is-
talk about the video then. What?
In that he was basically shitting on them just because of the fact that, you know, you say you're going for the PC, the PC specs, yet this is worse than something came out 5 years ago for a decent price on PC platform.
Yeah. Like,
And it's
well,
like,
color me shocked. Like,
right? How can you say that you're following in the steps of PC, and you know you don't even you claim to own all, like, Sony owns a lot of DVD sales, like DVD player sales and Blu-ray
Only that, they
sales.
also have phones, they have TVs, Blu-rays.
Yes,
like,
say,
there's a
so
lot of
so
markets.
where
Look at
was
my
the issue
Sony
when it
phone.
came to 4K for video games and for DVDs? Just like, it doesn't make any.
Yeah, that was strange.
It was very
like, yeah, this
strange.
paragraph is really good. I'll admit to being a little tickled by the thought of console manufacturers having to react to PC's flexibility and power, but I'm not convinced that this is the way to go about it. It's one of those things. It's one thing to toss in a new graphical processing unit and some extra RAM into a PC, but replacing an entire system is something else. Financially, the difference may not be that great. For example, the PS Pro will go for $399, and that's relatively similar, just extemporaneously, to, you know, tossing in a new piece of hardware. PlayStation newcomers probably won't be that bothered, but at a gut level, the throw it out and buy a new one approach to upgrading may not sit well with the existing consumer base. So,
Yeah, and PC
Pretty much,
or not
like-
PC. PlayStation was recently talking about moving to. Well, maybe that's what the PS4 Pro is for. They were talking about making their whole system interchangeable. So like they would sell a graphics upgrade, and you could. Yeah, they're making a PC.
you have a desktop at that point, but you have a proprietary, more expensive, more likely to have problems, shittier version of a standard that already exists.
Yep.
Like,
they were already talking about making interchangeable parts where you would just click and go, grab out the old part and put in a new part for upgrades rather than doing the toss the old system, get a new system idea. But
I'm sorry, there is a rant inside of me, but it can only come out in small bursts before I have to cough. So,
But like, it's just it's stupid. I don't understand why. I understand why they do it. They do it this way because it's cheaper for like the common people that don't understand how to either work with computers or build a computer, all that stuff. The what the hell is it called? The casual gamers that
The
will just buy a
plebeian?
console.
The
yeah,
the console
yes.
peasants. Yeah, no.
console peasants, of course. You know, like the Call of Duty fags, all those guys. That's why they do this. They keep it cheap. They make it so they can afford it, and they sell a shit ton of them. That's the only reason. Like,
yep.
I don't see the point in even owning a console apart from exclusives, which is why I don't have an Xbox One anymore.
Oh my god, I just read the paragraph Doc skipped over. Hold on, I have to read this paragraph now. I saw some data that really influenced me, House said. It suggested that there's a dip in mid-console life cycles where players who want the very best graphical experience will start to migrate to PC because that's obviously where it's to be had.
No shit. That's a little obvious.
Let me fix that sentence for you. I saw some data that really influenced me. It suggested that there's a dip in people buying consoles during their entire life cycle if they actually care about graphics at all. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, there at no point in a console's lifespan is it anywhere dollar for performance better than a computer under any circumstances. That's been proved multiple times. There's an entire video series created by this one YouTuber who, of course, obviously slips my head at the moment, but it's called the Potato Masher. It's this computer that they threw together. I think it was for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 era consoles. And it cost the exact same amount of money. It was really easy to put together. You could get all the pieces from a single location. I think they use Newegg, but Tiger Direct works too. And it fucking kicked the snot out of the consoles. Like, I mean, it wasn't this, beautiful, like, Lord Gaben Master Race throne of a computer, but
It was better.
it was better by a significant visible margin.
Again, it's just that people don't want to learn how to build and manage a computer. They don't want to go through the time and process to do that.
And even
It's
then,
not a hard process.
It's like
Very
putting Lego
easy.
bricks together. It's not that
Exactly.
hard.
Like every couple of years, you have to buy a new like $300 GPU, maybe change out RAM.
There's the thing I think that really freaks people out, and as someone who's built desktops, this will always freak you out.
Yes.
There's always a chance that you get all the parts, you put it together, and it doesn't work. Okay.
Yes.
You can get bad hardware, but if you get a piece of hardware that's DOA, that's not the end of the world. You just return it, RAM it, and wait for a little while. It's not
Right.
that big of a
I'm
deal.
gonna give you a story.
There's a reason why you mount the CPU, you mount the fucking RAM and the graphics card and hook everything up on a test bench before you throw it into the actual case. That's in case something doesn't fucking work right. So you know before you take the time of putting everything inside the case.
So, I'm gonna give you a little story real quick, and this was the most confusing shit for me when I put this computer together. Put it together, the lights come on, it won't post.
I think I've heard this.
Okay, it won't post, but all the lights come on, the fans turn on, everything spins up, like everything's working fine. Turns out half of the 24 pin on the power supply wasn't supplying power. And it wasn't enough power to start the CPU, so it wouldn't post. But I had no fucking clue because I'm sitting there going, everything's turning on. Why the fuck isn't it turning on? Replaced the CPU 3 times, the RAM 4 times, and I was just like, what the fuck is wrong with this thing? Finally replaced the fucking power supply and everything turned on then, but damn. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those situations where you're like, I put it all together, why isn't it fucking working?
Now, I'm gonna rag on you for a little bit. Now, if you're A+ certified, you know that the third thing that you check is the power supply unit. But that's a very rare failure to have, one side of the power just not working properly.
Yeah.
Especially if all the fans turn on. Like, you're like, well, obviously the board's getting power, otherwise fans wouldn't be working. Like,
we got a comment that I can't believe that they are still together after all that shit, I'm assuming, between them, can you? I'm not sure what he's talking about. Anybody know? Is he maybe talking...
Shit.
Yeah,
Who
there's
is
a chat message
I'm not even
from
looking at chat.
AJ. Hello, AJ.
hi, AJ.
But, I don't know, is he talking about...
I don't know. Well, let him clarify himself.
Yeah, I was
and
gonna
we'll
say,
move
if you
on.
clarify, we'll be more than happy to answer that. I'm a little confused by the wording. Because you may be referring to something that's farther in the past than
But
it actually
butt cheeks.
The
was.
Mafau.
My butt cheeks are still together.
Oh, neat. Our
Anyway.
butt cheeks.
Well, yeah.
There we go. I responded.
Thank you for the response.
Yeah, anyway.
Moving on. I don't think I have anything left to say about this, just that they're trying to simplify something that is not that complicated to begin with. And I don't think they should
They
be...
just want to stay relevant, basically.
And,
That's all
and the
it
other
is.
comment I had on this is, of course the console sales dip mid-life cycle. Oh,
Yeah.
God. Damn, it's
It's like
almost
they're
like the
suddenly
people that
come
want it
on.
already fucking bought it. Jesus
And
Christ.
if they haven't yet, they're waiting for the price to go down.
Yeah. Which, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Yes.
I'm done with Sony. Sony can go,
I'm done, Sonny. Go there.
like, I
Now we go
understand
to
this
the
is
other
their
devil?
advertising ploy. Yeah, now we go to the other devil. Now we move on to Microsoft announces new Xbox Live clubs and looking for group features.
That's strange.
I agree.
They make it just.
Are we
forums
saying
now?
that Xbox is going to be an MMO?
Oh,
Do you know what we need? What do we need? Well, we have a matchmaking system, and the games themselves have a matchmaking system, so let's make a matchmaking system inside of a matchmaking system. Ah! Like,
It might be similar though to like Sony has like these. They're called communities on the PS4. It's a weird thing. Like, there's a bunch of people can join it. And
I mean, I
stuff
can
like that.
guarantee you that
have,
Destiny
like, a
players are
message
going to use
board.
the fucking shit out of that.
I was gonna
To
say,
find raid
Destiny
groups.
players are definitely gonna use the LFG function.
Yeah, of course they are.
Or LGF, whatever.
Like I can see this being useful actually, to a degree.
It could be
Yeah, but
useful.
it's basically a clan system.
Yeah, it's basically just a clan system or a party system.
It's a clan system within existing clan systems and matchmaking systems. Yeah.
Mind blown.
OP clan system.
The only other thing is it's also on Windows 10.
No, it's not.
It is. Promise.
It shouldn't be.
It is.
It shouldn't be.
This.
We have the internet. We have forums.
Yeah, the Xbox Live clubs and looking for group features will be on the Xbox app on Windows 10.
No.
Well, since you can
That-
play
that
Xbox
thing that
games
no
on
one's
your
gonna use.
PC once that comes out, I'm sure it'll be a little bit more helpful than the whole idea behind. You could just go to a site and you do it yourself.
Yeah. Do you hear what I hear? A troll, shit posting in the night.
I heard something. It was the Trollolo
it's
song
a-
from A Long Shine Away. Possibly the moon.
Faint a Lamau in the distance. Like,
Spoopy! Spoopy!
Yeah, matter of fact, in the article, Steve, clubs are user-created groups that give Xbox Live members the ability to form and manage their own personal online communities.
Wow!
It's almost like it's PlayStation communities.
Yeah, it's almost like the PlayStation community. It's like, hey, that's a good idea.
We should do that and call it something else.
Oh, something that sounds weird.
Looking for
Clubs.
group, meanwhile, is like posting a gaming want ad, so it's literally the Destiny LFG that already exists on the internet that everybody uses.
Pretty much.
Players can browse and join open LFGs. Okay, so it makes it a little easier to join because you can directly join the LFG, which is nice. Everyone will be brought into a party chat automatically as well. That's kind of nice. Hosts can
Yeah.
set rules that govern the behavior of playings, like no swearing and mad skills only.
Yes!
Wow.
Just what I need.
Something to that effect, anyway. To ensure that everyone involved is theocratically gets what they're looking for. Theocratically? That's a really weird term to use right there.
As opposed
As
to
opposed
say
to say
being
berate.
berated by strangers on the internet. Yo, that's gonna happen anyway.
Oh my god, being berated by strangers on the internet. Man, I'm a level 320 warlock. I want to join your group. Let me in. He's a fucking 158, gets kicked out, and we move on. Like, oh god, we're being berated by strangers on the internet. It's almost like they're strangers either way, you moron. They're still
Don't lie
strangers.
to me.
You still don't know
lie
who
to
they
me.
are just because you set a rule.
No, I don't want to listen to you.
Cause I can see people just like coming into the chat being like, "Fuck everyone here. I'm gonna drag us down just to be a dick."
Then you get kicked, just like you would if you joined from the internet.
Exactly.
Whoa.
Like, what's
Wait,
the
they
point?
kick people on the internet? What? No.
I mean,
There's some people on the
it's
internet.
almost like the guy that went 1-14 when we were playing Iron Banner, and we just mysteriously
God.
disappeared from him. Mysteriously had connection issues, and we stopped playing.
1 in 14. Like,
At 1-14.
you
It-
have to try to be that bad. You literally have to jump into the enemy team.
And actually, I think it was 1-14 and like 2. He only had 2 assists, which means he really was just god
literally
awful.
just trolling.
Like, at least when I go like 6-18, I'm like, look at the 13 or 14 assists. I was attempting to contribute to the team the whole time. I wasn't just with my gun over there in the corner pointing at the wall going, man, this looks like an enemy. So people get kicked. It's a thing that happens. Get used to it, internet, and all the people you run into on a daily basis through your random matchmaking system are strangers until you try to be friends with them. It's how I've met most of these people besides Steve. Just random gaming communities where we came together to play a game and I met people. They're strangers at the beginning and then they're friends later on down the road. Alright.
I was a
I'm-
friend
I'm-
every day.
I don't have anything more to say about this Xbox stuff.
Yeah, I'm done with it.
Which means I'm
They
gonna roll
better
us
have
into
plan events where you can walk around with your little avatar.
I'm gonna roll us into an interesting thing. Ghost bullets have been confirmed in Destiny. And I'm going to play like 5 seconds of this video and show you confirmation of the ghost bullets happening, and then we'll move on. So he's gonna shoot, and it's gonna go directly next to his head, despite the reticule being pointed directly at his head. You also can see it hit the wall above, and then hit his body instead of his head, even though the gun is pointed directly at that person's face. Now then, this is because the guns still have a dice roll on accuracy when aiming down the sight. And I'm just gonna let Doc talk now.
So I'm gonna draw some helpful arm diagrams here. So imagine that this right here is the tip of your gun, right?
The tip,
Okay.
eh?
Yes, the tip. You can get as sexual as you want to with this. Now you would
Oh, I
expect
will.
that if you fire a bullet from here, right? It's gonna go straight. What actually happens is you get a cone, okay? Circular like this, expanding outwards towards the wall. Now, in the actual game calculation, the cone doesn't start exactly at the beginning of the muzzle. It's actually a little bit farther out in the distance because if you slow that clip down really far, you can actually see the bullet magnetism on the gun. And for those of you who don't know what bullet magnetism is in FPSs, you haven't played video games long enough, and I'm not going to teach it to you. Adjust the trajectory of the bullet in the air to represent the dice roll. So it's even worse because your bullet was going where you wanted it to until it was about halfway there, and then it went somewhere else. So in most games, if you have different types of guns that you want to be effective at different ranges, you do what's known as a damage fall-off calculation, where the bullet still goes exactly where it's supposed to, but it just does less damage over distance. Bungie, for whatever reason, got a wild hair up their ass that wasn't good enough. They wanted to add a fucking dice roll to the gun. And that dice roll is attached to the range stat, because the accuracy stat is attached to range and isn't displayed in the gun's actual mechanics listing. So there's several bars. There's
Let's
range,
see.
power, stability, reload. There's some other ones and
Impact,
stuff like that.
stability, range.
Yeah. So they added this in. They added it to
Fire
several guns. They added it to assault rifles, scout rifles, probably pulse rifles, and hand cannons.
You wouldn't know with pulse rifles, the fucking beams of doom.
However,
right
because hand cannons have the shortest effective range out of all those archetypes, it becomes painfully obvious because the dice roll is the worst. So you can be using a hand cannon, and 1 second it feels pristine, and the next, all of a sudden, like 3 of your shots in a row go fucking east. So, and it's even worse. Some people who know what I'm talking about will get flashbacks to Halo Reach. It's even worse than Bloom because in Halo Reach, your gun was 100% accurate as long as you fired it within the recommended fire rate, okay? When you went over, your reticle would bloom out. That's why they called it Bloom, and it would let you know that you were now inaccurate. In Destiny, it doesn't do that. Your gun does the dice roll every single time you shoot, no matter how fast you shoot, and doesn't communicate to you that it's doing it, which means that you win and lose gun battles, not based on skill, but an arbitrary dice roll that is deciding your fate in the background that until recently, we didn't even know existed. So, suffice it to say, we're pissed. A lot of us are really pissed. And we got pissed really loudly. And after the triple wreck video came out, even the detractors, some people thought, oh, maybe it's latency problems that need to be inspected. Maybe some people are just bad. Maybe some people shouldn't use hand cannons at that far of a range. Now even the naysayers are like, okay, this is shit. Like, even if they don't want hand cannons to work from that far away, my bullet should go where I put it. Okay? That's like an intrinsic thing about a first-person shooter. If I can put the reticle on the target, my bullet hits them, period, full stop. Okay? If you wanted to do a very tiny amount of damage because of how far away I hit them with and the type of gun that I'm using, that's fine. But I want you to register my hits where I put them. And because they added this dice roll, it makes them ineffective even at the range that they're supposed to be effective at. Because some of those shots that are supposed to be criticals, when you line up a headshot, are now going for the body. So everybody's ticked off. And that's the long and short of Bungie being retards. So
Yep, I actually... You remember that Mayhem Clash video I showed you? Where I get 5 kills and then come over the top with the Hawk Moon and miss 3 shots?
And you just fire blanks?
Yeah, all of them were pointed at the target and only one of them hit. Now that I think about it, God, that pisses me off now that I think about it.
There's a dice in the back that just said, nope, you're fucked. Like,
I would have gotten a fucking 6-man.
Yeah. But so they've now finally acknowledged that they've fucked up, and DJ's going to talk to the live team and see what they can do for balancing and stuff like that. But it's a question of how do they fix it now? Because since it's been implemented for quite some time, they've changed the relative gun balance based on the existence of this dice roll. So if they were to completely rip it out and then just go back to using the damage fall off to balance guns, they would have to completely go back and rebalance everything.
And that seems like a very core mechanic to the game, even if it's
not, because it didn't exist. It didn't exist in year one.
Oh, it didn't.
No,
they
this
did
Did not exist. Destiny functioned without it for an entire year. That's why. Like, if it had always been there, and it was just a matter of they turned it up too high, that would be one thing. But they added this mechanic in year 2 as a means of countering how effective hand cannons were. Because the problem was, as I was saying with the damage fall off thing, some of their players are so good and can land shots with hand cannons at such a high rate from so far away accurately, they couldn't turn the gun down enough to make hand cannons not op at long range. So they added in this accuracy calculation that threw the bullets off. But Now it's just made them fucking clown guns. And they went from one of like the most powerful subtype of guns in Crucible to completely worthless in a single patch.
Yeah, literally. Like, I tried the Thorn as soon as we went to year 2, and I was just like, this gun is useless.
Garbage.
I can't hit
Yeah.
targets. I don't know what's wrong, but I can't hit targets. And then you were like, oh, it's ghost bulleting. I'm like, what the fuck is ghost bulleting, and why the fuck is my gun doing it? Because, like, the Thorn used to be my best fucking friend. Headshots from across the map, just pop.
Yeah.
There goes your burning health bar. Pop,
like,
pop.
dots aside, dots aside, hand cannons were great. Like I had one for Destiny players, if anyone's
I
listening,
used
called
the
the
Fate
Fulcrum.
Bringer.
You know, which is a high accuracy, high stability weapon with a moderate rate of fire and a couple luck in the chamber rolls. That thing was a god weapon. Like you could slay kids with that thing, and because the way that the two of us play, we like to not fire a lot of bullets, and we like them to hurt.
Yes, that's why I love scout rifles.
Both of those type of guns, the scout rifle and the hand cannon, were the two classes that were the most impacted by this change, which is why we've been so pissed at the game lately, because our style of play is literally being countered by an invisible dice roll. I can get around it because I've been playing for so long that I have really good close range weapons like shotguns. But because he doesn't play as much as I do, he doesn't have the top tier weapons to compete at short range because he's never been a short range player. So he's like fucking dicks in the wind, fucked. And I can get by just because I've got some good shotguns. So
Yeah, I was gonna say the only shotgun I have is Two to the Morgue. It's okay. It doesn't beat a party
Anyway.
crasher.
I won't beat this to death because these two guys don't play Destiny that much. But I
could.
don't
Well,
do this.
The
Don't
only
do
thing
it.
I
Like-
might add as a reference is bullets do have a cone when leaving the gun. However, that cone is so much smaller than you've made it. So much ridiculously smaller than they're using in this game. It would never hit the wall next to that guy's head at that distance. Never. The bullets
And
don't spread that much. There is a spread.
that was where he was standing was considered inside effective hand cannon range. That was a reasonable distance for a hand cannon, and it was just fucking whiffing bullets.
Yep.
So
And
we'll have to wait
How
and
cool
see.
would it be to be the guy that was getting shot at and see a bullet just go turn right in front of your face?
you know, that might be why the fucking last word is still a broken piece of shit, though. Because the last
I mean,
word is just pop, 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 random shots of death.
Obviously, the way it works in Destiny, the bullet doesn't like using the word turn is a misnomer because there's only so many frames in the game. The bullet doesn't necessarily turn; it actually teleports.
Right.
So
I'm
when it
just saying
leaves the barrel,
if it was
then
the actual
the
case.
then the next frame it's here, then the next frame it's here, then the next frame it's slightly off of where it theoretically should have been, and then it goes on that axis in a means that makes sense. Somewhere in between there's a bullet magnetism deviation calculation being done that changes the trajectory of the bullet. You don't literally see the bullet curve.
No.
Which is one of the reasons why, until this test was done in private matches, it was so difficult to prove this. Because there was no obvious way to see it happening.
However, bullet magnetism has been too high on guns because
Yes.
I've been
Sniper
sniped
rifle, for
through a
example.
wall by a sniper rifle. Literally
just
through a
seems-
wall.
Their dials are all off. And they've got, I think Bungie's problem is they've got too many dials. They've got bullet magnetism, they've got head seeking, which is, the natural aim assist that all shooters have because of the low DPI on thumbsticks. They've got the damage range fall off calculation, and now they've got the accuracy cone. So they've got 4 separate dials that affects all the damage that all the guns do. And they're turning them in little tiny amounts and not really understanding how big of an impact it's making for all of the guns in the archetype. So
Yeah, and I was going to say, if pulse rifles are actually affected by this cone, pulse rifles' cone is so fucking small.
yeah,
it's retarded.
it's
Pulse
unbelievable.
rifles are just beams of doom right now. Literally, like the grasp of Malik is just pure death.
All right, let's go ahead.
Yeah, I was
and
gonna
move
say, I
on
think
to the
I'm done
next one.
beating the dead horse. Any comments from the two that don't play Destiny and aren't just outright pissed at this?
Destiny sucks, and
Yeah.
it's trash.
Well,
I wish
me-
I could play, but my friends don't like that game.
let me rephrase. Delta plays on PS4.
Any serious comments?
Yeah, I was
from-
gonna
I
say.
could get it for Xbox One, but
You guys have
This
played
is just,
first-person
to me,
shooters,
it's a
though.
weird problem to have this far down the damn line for Destiny. That's just what's
it's like playing Battlefield 1 with those guns. They're so hard to hit with the snipers.
It was. But no, like, it's just such a strange thing that they decided to add in that's just throwing everything off. Like, it makes me not want to play it even more than I
Oh.
really don't want to play it.
Small note: it also affects shotguns.
Of course it
Oh
does.
yeah,
It
that's really
Because
weird.
that's noticeable.
is.
no,
it actually
it
is
is.
noticeable.
You want if we'll show it to you later because when we're not going to try and scrub through the video in the stream, but there's this really great shot of these two guys who are in mid jump, and he pulls his shotgun out, and they're like this far away, and he fires, and the entire bird shot goes like boop out the left side of the fucking shotgun and hits the wall right behind the guy, and you're like, what?
So they don't even calculate it per bullet; they calculate it for the entire burst.
Yeah, on the shotgun, it's the whole burst.
And it's
So
just
what's hilarious? That means that with the shotgun, there's a cone for the cone because the shotgun itself is a cone, and then there's another cone that decides where that cone goes. Like, I mean,
it's ridiculous.
now that very rarely ever happens, and there's probably some weird edge case that's causing that. That's really not on purpose. That's
Yeah.
probably a bug. But it's hilarious when it happens because the bullets literally like shoot out the left of the gun.
Oh my god, I'm watching the video now. Holy shit, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's
Look
ridiculous.
at this thing.
All right, Con, what's next?
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna drop this. I'm gonna drop this and move on. Battlefleet Gothic Armada brings the Tau Empire to open beta.
I don't know
Now-
what any of that is.
I know nothing about this either, so I'll let you go for it.
Okay, the reason that I bring this up is I don't know much at all about this game, but the Tau Empire is a Warhammer 40k nation. Okay? And I did not know this game was at all or in any way related to Warhammer 40k. And I feel like that's a failure on the advertiser's part because, man, I would play a fucking game. I love Warhammer 40k games. And then I bring this up to talk primarily about failure in advertising lately, where games are just misleading us, No Man's Sky, or failing to bring proper levels of enthusiasm for the game where it falls off short, or overestimations of what the game will actually do. Just advertising doesn't seem to be going the proper direction anymore, and I'm debating whether we should give a shit about it anymore at all.
Well, it depends really, because I think certain game companies like thrive in the advertising business. Like back when Borderlands was a big deal, which I mean, it's not a huge deal anymore. People still love it, but advertising there was just phenomenal. Even as I was going to mention later, the Kingdom Hearts trailer that just came out for 2.8, that's really good. I mean, I can't tell if it's going to have any basically changes from the actual game itself from the trailer, but
Yeah.
I think if the company itself values the trailers or the advertisements, then they can go really well. But a lot of times you run into these companies that, yeah, well, no, we got to put something out so people know about us or know about it.
Right, or
they're like
we're already
huge
so big,
AAA
who
companies.
cares? Happens to.
Right.
Like, we're already so giant, who needs a good advertising trailer?
Right, White Lunks? or junks, white junks.
White junks. Yeah, I literally only brought this up to discuss advertising because I didn't think any of you cared about this game at all, truthfully. I just brought this up to discuss advertising and then like how we feel about advertising. So, any comments from the other two about advertising?
Yeah.
I
As
mean,
long as it's not
in
outright
relation,
lying, yeah.
in relation to what though? There's a lot of different.
Well,
Like, are
In
we talking
relation
about false
to-
advertising or
to, like-
misadvertising?
how close things are coming to false advertising almost, and like how big failures are poisoning the well for the rest of advertising.
I always
Well,
take
there's
it by
a- there's
like
a
one
pretty
thing at a
simple-
time.
There's a pretty simple rule of thumb. Don't talk shit. If you talk a bunch of shit about your game, how awesome it's going to be, and all these features, and it doesn't have any of them, congratulations, you've just violated the Federal Trade Commission's rules on advertising. You're going to get sued. So, or even if you don't get sued, you don't get to bitch when people refund your shit.
Sure.
Like,
Yep.
but if
Here I
you
was thinking
advertise,
you're talking about talking shit like the new what was that Mega Man clone number 9? Or something
like that.
Yeah. That
Oh,
was
God.
another
Where he was
failure
actually
of
talking
pure
shit.
death.
He was actually
That
talking
is-
shit in trailer.
Mighty Number 9, Dina's Dynamic Disaster.
Oh my god,
Like,
that was just...
Jesus Christ.
I've only heard bad things about that game. Like, has anyone actually played that here? Any of
No.
you?
No, I'm not gonna take the time. I'm not a huge Mega Man person, anyways.
It
But
went-
it looked pretty bad.
It went so south in so many ways that it would take at least 30 minutes to explain it to you.
Okay.
Like, I
Wow.
just suffice it to say that
It was a failure
got
among failures.
a group of developers, and they hired a bunch of people who didn't know what they were doing, and then they hired a bunch of writers who didn't have any experience with Mega Man's background and had no idea what they were doing, who also happened to be social justice warriors. And it, whoa, boom. Like, yeah.
He's just like, oh goodness. Oh,
Yeah,
Oh no.
I've just only heard bad things. Like, I'm a big Mega Man fan, so anything that tries to do Mega Man stuff is something I enjoy, but
I'll put it to you this way. There were multiple internal meetings about whether or not the villain should be a person of color. Okay, does that tell you
Okay,
enough about the
okay.
design
Does that
implementation of this game? Okay. Yeah, we
Okay,
can move on from that. If
Yeah, that was what...
Yeah.
You know the worst part about Mighty Number 9 for me,
it
though?
went bad.
Let me just put it to you like this. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know about the Kickstarter. I saw it come out and I went, it's a Mega Man
Don't even get me
ripoff, and
started about
immediately
the Kickstarter.
disregarded it. I saw it as
The
a Mega Man
Kickstarter?
ripoff and said, fuck you, don't need Mega Man ripoffs, want my Mega Man, and told it to go fuck itself.
One of the writers, the specific writer I'm talking about, Dina, which is why it's called Dina's Dynamic Disaster,
Mhm.
is because she was also in control of the forums. And at some points, she actually started banning Kickstarter backers from the forums for disagreeing with her. Okay? Like, I'm saying,
Oh,
this
so
thing-
it's
this
that
thing went
bad.
downhill.
I
Mhm.
now understand how pure cancer it became.
Yeah.
All right.
cancerous.
I have nothing more to talk about advertising wise or Battlefleet Gothic. Battlefleet Gothic is a Warhammer 40k space game. Feel free to get it if you like that. I'm into that. Might look
Go
into
check
it.
it out. We're not sponsored by them.
Not in the slightest.
Yes,
I
we
You
are.
just
should be.
just felt like maybe I should mention the game since, you know, it's on the screen.
They wanna hand me money, I'll play it.
Don't you worry.
I'm moving on. Rocket League's free Rumble mode rose out today, which
Rocket
was like
League
6
Rumble
days ago.
is fun. It's fun.
It's
the
fun.
greatest thing.
It's fun, but
ever
I still
made.
think it's fucking cancer.
No, it's the best
greatest
thing ever.
made.
I agree
How can
with
you not
Doc
like it?
on certain reasons because it becomes
Fucking
literally
cancer.
just who gets the better dice roll on the power
Yeah,
up.
it's a dice roll. Like if the
So?
power ups were on the ground, like that would.
I
be
agree.
one
If the
thing.
power ups were a pickup and they were like boost, where you have to get to them
Also,
and fight for them.
by the way,
Yeah,
okay,
that
so
makes
we
more
have a
sense.
game. We have a game where the cars can fucking fly. Okay,
Yes.
why has no one made a map where the whole fucking wall, like both walls, you know how both walls are like these weird force field things?
Yeah.
Why don't the walls have boost pickups on them?
They
That would
do
make
in some
so
of them.
much sense.
Why-
Tokyo,
okay.
The Tokyo map has some on the wall, and
Well-
the newer one that's
No,
based
he
on
means like
Tokyo.
directly on the
No,
wall.
I
They
mean,
are
like,
directly on the wall. There's
this
small
is a-
boost
this is like a
boost
3D
pickups
game.
above the goals on Neo Tokyo.
I'm talking about like the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Like we've got this 3D crazy physics, holy shit game with all this unutilized space all over the place.
Yep, I agree. I
Dude,
also don't
especially
like
for
the
something-
ceiling. Not gonna lie, I don't think there should be.
Especially for something like Rumble.
Yeah, there
okay.
shouldn't be a ceiling.
If you want to have pickups in Rumble, like you could not only have the pickups on the ground, you could strew them all over the walls.
Yeah,
It'd
like
be
have like
awesome.
the better pickups like in the air.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, you
like,
make them
one
in the
really
air.
good pickup. Like for example, have on the very top of the center of the ceiling, have like a power up that is always the grappling hook. So like
Right.
if you use your boost to get up there and you grab the pickup, boom, you've got a guaranteed grappling hook to wherever the ball is. You could set up some crazy combos with that thing. Like it would be awesome. But instead,
I
no,
had
it's
the
like
best
let's
combo
just
with that
randomly give people rolls and hope for the best.
Now, Steve, did you say that you think there should be a ceiling?
No, there shouldn't be.
Okay. Anybody?
How would you do it without a ceiling, though?
I think
Like-
there should be a ceiling. Obviously, I think the ceiling's too low,
Yeah.
but there should be a little bit higher, because if you don't have a ceiling, then what? You either can go outside the
Infinite
map,
walls on the
or
sides.
you just continuously go up until you run out of
Well,
boost,
it's not
or you
gonna
have
be
infinite
continuous
boost.
because there's
Well,
no boost.
I
up
guess
there.
there should
So
be a
eventually you'll run
ceiling.
out of boost.
Well, you can drive up the wall without boost.
Just put a soft
That's
kill
true.
barrier up there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even put a soft kill barrier. Like, what I would just do is I'd put a ceiling, because at
put a
the end of the
high
day,
kill
if the ceiling's high enough that it's not causing these stupid, ridiculous ball
Oh,
things,
the bounces,
yeah, then I'm okay with it. Because at the end of the day, I feel like the ceiling's way too low for the capabilities of the car. Especially the capabilities of the car and the ball. And then if you were to add boost pickups to the wall, the ceiling is definitely way too low.
So, if you think about it, the basic default map, we can all agree that the ceiling's just too low for the most part.
Yes.
But on maps like the desert map and in Neo Tokyo, they both have decently sized wall or heights for the ceiling, where you still get that weird effect if you hit it hard enough, but it's not going to be like, oh, you hit it, boom.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Neo Tokyo, more so because of the low grav. I've seen it rarely happen on the desert. The desert's like, maybe that's the height I want, because the desert seems to not
Yeah, we love
have
that map.
silly
That map's
effect
crazy.
most of the time. Yeah,
No,
Desert map
no, the
sucks.
curve map is icky.
I love the desert
I
map.
like the curve map.
Yeah,
the
I
curve
think-
map is awesome.
I think it's my favorite map, because it seems to work the best, in my opinion, for what I want out of the game. The only thing
Yeah,
I...
but you sometimes
like-
get those weird moments where it drops onto the ground and it bounces to the left hard, or
Oh yeah, it like hits the ground. Like rather than doing what you think it should do, like let's say it's on an incline, right? You think it should go like hit and then kind of change trajectory, but generally stay in the same direction. Sometimes, even though the angle is only this sharp, it goes like bonk and just completely goes back. You're like, wait, that's not how that's supposed to work
Well,
at all.
I've noticed that it also matters the spin on the ball. And the more spin there is on the ball, the more it changes the direction of the ball's
That is
impact.
so bullshit. I do not believe
Guarantee
that
it,
game.
I have a recording of it.
No.
I have a
There is
recording
no,
of my ball curving in
no way.
because
that's
of the
gross,
spin.
Bulldog. That is gross.
That
I don't need to
there
hear about
is
your
a
balls
fucking-
curving in.
There's no way that game is making angular momentum calculations on those balls. If it was, they would be doing far more impressive things than what they're doing right now. If they actually cared about front spin and back spin,
I promise
angular
it cares about
momentum.
spin. It doesn't care
And
about
think it
spin
does.
through air. It only cares about the spin when it hits the ground.
Yeah.
But it does care about
if
spin.
if you cared about backspin, then the backspinning forward shot balls off people's noses would slow down much more than they do when they hit the ground. I'm telling you that game is not making angular momentum calculations. You are full of shit, sir.
Mm,
I will
I
take you
have
to
a
the fucking
video of it.
bridge.
I have a
on
video
that.
of it. I will show you it.
Just
The
because you
Rumble
have
is
a
on
single
all the
video-
maps.
Just because you have a single video of a weird physics interaction does not mean that the game is actually doing those calculations.
Okay, I will continue to record every instance I see it. But the only
Okay, do
times
it.
I see it is only when the ball hits the ground, not when the ball hits the cars, or when the ball hit the wall or the ceiling. I've only seen it when it hits the ground. And it may only be doing it with the ground, which is kind of weird.
Stupid.
Yeah. But I've definitely seen the ball curve numerous times because of a side spin on the ball when it hits the ground. And then
I'm
the
over here
ball
like,
ends up
Doc does
going...
not approve of your bullshit.
The question in chat is what platform is Rumble on? It's on all maps, including the Rocket Labs
Beta
maps.
map.
Yeah.
No, he said platform.
Platform like
It's on
console,
all
so
platforms,
it's
isn't it?
yeah, it's probably
Oh.
on all.
I think
Yeah,
it's on all
Rumble's on all
platforms.
of the platforms that Rocket League is on, which is all platforms. Xbox, PS4.
I do have to say though
PC.
that it's kind of like going back to when Rocket League started, where you had that immense amount of fun because of how innovative it was to the entire genre of these car games. Or
I was gonna say, I still have
Games.
that fun even when I play normals, but I do admit
Yeah,
that Rumble is giving me that fresh feeling again
Yes.
of like, welcome back to this is a fun game. I have some disagreements with interactions of certain power-ups, obviously, like the fist and spike. That needs some sort of interaction. But other than that... any other mentions? Anything anybody wants to say about, Oh, I guess we should mention that, Rocket League now has a crate system that's basically the same as, CSGO. It's literally, you add it, you open a key, and then, it rolls a random chance item out of it at a percentage.
But you don't get the crates as often. It's upsetting.
I've gotten 2 crates now.
I have not. I've only had one.
I was gonna say, but yeah, the crates are really low drop chance compared to CSGO, like ridiculously low. Also, something I discovered that really makes me angry is old uncommon items and old rare and very rare items cannot be traded up for newer rare and very rares. They don't work. You have to trade them with the old versions, so if you don't have enough of the older versions to trade them, you just won't be able to do anything with them. Which means I'm sitting on 7 uncommons, 2 of them that I will never trade. Ever. Or, sorry, 6.
I'm fine with the fact that I don't know. I like having every single item. So it's one of those situations where, I mean, yeah, I could trade them in, but I like having every piece. If it was a case where we keep getting those pieces and they weren't tradable with the new stuff, then I would agree.
I have gotten the new pieces, and it won't trade with the same piece from my older set.
No, I'm saying, like, you can still get the old stuff.
Yeah, like I got my fedora. I got my
Oh, okay.
fedora. I can't trade it with the old fedora because for some reason that's something that Rocket League won't let me do now. So the quote-unquote new uncommon items won't trade with anything that came before this patch.
Ha! Yay!
I agree.
It's shitty, but whatever. I'm indifferent of it. I'm done with it.
Now for a weird topic. Armello Usurper's DLC is live on Steam, but won't be releasing on GOG. This is weird, because it sold on GOG. The original version of the game sells on GOG, and in the next article, I'll just flip to it real quick. GOG is offering full refunds now on all of their Armello sales so that people can go tell the game to piss
Buy it
off
on
or go
Steam,
buy it on
or,
Steam
yeah.
where they can get the DLC. Because apparently GOG isn't receiving any of the DLCs for this game, which I don't know
It's-
why.
That's weird.
Let's see in here if it explains it a little better. We want to ensure that whatever platforms Armello is on, we are providing the best experience we can. As Armello moves more and more into the online services, like Steam's inventory and more multiplayers, and as we begin to roll out all our plans for DLCs, we've been working closely with GOG on an edition of Armello specific to GOG. The Armello DRM free edition should be up and running on GOG.com right now, which is the actual version that GOG is offering refunds for. So,
Yeah, I think it's just that they don't want to switch to have both access to Steam and personal servers. So when they, when they go through Steam, they have to have that DRM there, and they're just too lazy to make it so that they have their own services.
I guess so. And then I guess they're not looking for any private hosting servers either, which is kind of weird. Because the game isn't that intensive. It's literally a board game, basically, with
RNG.
some graphics and some dice rolls. Literal dice rolls. It rolls dice on the screen that then come up with something. Not numbers.
Which I have to say, this also has the crate system now, and I have some beautiful dice.
Wait. It
I've
has a
been playing
crate
on my
system?
own.
Is everything
Yeah.
just going to this crate
Everything
system?
needs a crate system. Everything needs it.
Next thing you know, I'm
Yeah.
gonna come into Destiny and there's gonna be a crate system. Wait.
Hey, I really hope that I get a crate system for Final Fantasy 15 so I can get a different car.
I mean, I guess you can kind of say, hey Doc,
And games.
in your opinion, those daily boxes we get, would you consider that a crate system?
Yes.
You have to pay for the key.
No, they
Yeah.
open on their own, but you can buy chests.
Oh, okay. So because that's kind of like what
Okay.
Overwatch would be doing.
I mean,
That's-
okay.
Okay, I guess it is an Overwatch crate system.
Let's define a crate system. A crate system, there's a mystery box. Okay. All right. And you either have to pay to get the box, or you have to pay to get the keys to open the box. Okay.
Or both.
And when you open said box, or both, when you open said box, a random number generator occurs, and mystery thing pops out of it. So yes, it is a fucking crate system. Like,
So Destiny has a crate system. So I guess now that we're thinking about it, everything's getting a crate system.
Destiny
Yes,
has a crate system. Now, there are various severities of infractions in terms of crate systems. One, how much do they cost? What do they actually give you? Does it give you power? Blah, blah, blah. With things like Overwatch and, Rocket League and Destiny and all those other, I mean, it's
Even Armel, yeah.
they're cosmetic items.
Cosmetic.
Their cosmetology.
They're cosmetic items that don't give power. So, like, I don't have a problem with them. They support the developer. So, like,
I have a
the whole
problem with
idea,
them.
the whole idea of a crate system gets a bad rap.
And I was going to say, also, Destiny has one of the most lenient ones where every day you log into a character, you get one.
Yeah.
Every time
just
you
get a
complete
free
the
one.
daily raid, you get one.
So I guess, like, I mean, so if you don't buy anything from Destiny for real money, then really what you have is just a loot system.
Yeah, it's just an RNG.
And
It's just like an engram. It's just like an engram. Okay. But because you can purchase them, I would refer to them as crates.
Yep, I agree.
The fact that you can get them for free doesn't make them not crates. Like, so
I do
yeah.
appreciate that Armello has once you get the chance to get a crate or a key, and you get the little spin thing and it goes and then it spins between either a key or a crate, so you have a chance that you don't have to actually pay to open it. Whereas some games like CS:GO will be like, yes, you have to give us money.
Yeah, because we will never give you the key. Ever. Which, I don't know, can you get Rocket League keys from playing Rocket League?
I don't think so. No.
I've not gotten one.
So Rocket League is literally the CSGO system where we give you a crate, you have to pay us to open the crate.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Which is the system I dislike the most, because there's no chance to ever get the crate for free. Which means I'm paying for a random cosmetic. Which is irritating.
And so far, the cosmetics don't have any actual value. So.
Well, they haven't hit
Other
a
than
Steam
looking
market
cool.
yet.
Yeah, like once that gets like big enough and
Well,
people have the shit.
All of them
And
aren't
eventually they'll
tradable
have value.
or sellable for 6 days, and the system only started 6 days ago. So they're just finally reaching the point at which they can be traded. Which means their value may start being assessed now.
Yeah.
But other than that,
Yay.
I don't
Someone-
particularly
Oh,
like CSGO's system for crates. I think it's annoying as shit, and that there should always be a way to get them for free. Granted, I don't say it should necessarily be easy, but I feel like there should always just be a way to open the crate without having to pay for it, because otherwise I'm wasting inventory space.
Yeah, that pisses me off. Here, have a free thing that you can't do anything with
Yeah.
unless you pay for it. Like,
In other words, here's a thing you have to pay for. And I'm just like, I don't want the thing I have to pay for. Take it.
Genius.
now, since I just said that, I have to eat some shit
Has bought so
because
many.
Destiny,
So many.
unfortunately, if you don't have the latest DLC and you go into Patrol, you can drop gear that you can't use.
Aww.
You remember
That's
that, don't
funny.
you?
Yeah. You'd pick it up
Yeah.
and it would be like,
You'd pick it
this
up
is for
and
this
it'd have
DLC.
the icon. This is for the DLC. Would you like to purchase it? I was like,
Not
just
for
thought-
this item.
I just talked myself into a corner. So now I had to be honest and shit on Bungie for a little bit. But yeah, they do that. They're like, here, have this piece of gear that you can't use. Like,
Does it let you see what it is first before it yells at
oh
you?
yeah, you can completely inspect the stats on it and everything, and take a look at it, and
So you can determine if you
I
want to get
think-
the DLC by
I
what kind of
think-
drops they give you.
I think you can actually equip it, but it won't give you any stats. So you can wear it around too and take a look at it.
Yep.
I have the DLC. Look at my items.
So, I'm just gonna side mention real quick that after reading the rest of this article, all this is Armello's developers being like, don't worry, the DRM free edition's gonna have stuff. We're just trying to work it out with GOG. In other words, it's them trying to fucking cover their own ass before everything hits the fan, and it's too late, everything hit the fan. And GOG is just like, here you go, feel free to refund it. So, they're...
Yeah, I mean, Armello doesn't really have a huge community anyways.
Yeah,
So,
no. I just thought
It's
it was
not
an
like
interesting
they're
mention.
gonna get huge press over this, but it does suck for those users that bought it on GOG and were like, oh, well, I really wanted to play this more with the DLC, but now I have to either refund it and lose all my stuff, probably, unless it was through a key through.
Yeah, you have to lose... Oh, that's right, because there's progression. Playing games with the certain creatures and unlocking new stuff.
Or they
That would
have to
discourage
just
me
deal with
from
the fact
playing
that.
it.
To be fair, though, when I reinstalled it recently, I found out I had none of my stuff, so. There
Oh,
just
so
must
even
be a
reinstalling
local
it
save.
kills it. That's interesting. Alright, I have nothing more on this topic. Everybody ready for Doc's segment?
Doc segment.
Man.
Whether you want it or not, here it is.
Here it is!
Finally threw out that fucking useless goddamn lawsuit about GTA.
The Lindsay
I mean,
Lohan.
how long has this been simmering in the
2 or
background?
3 years. This has been going.
Lindsay Lohan sued
2014.
to Take Interactive in 2014, claiming that it had used her likeness in Grand Theft Auto 5 and in its promotional materials without her permission. Lohan alleged the character Lacey Jones was based on her, and then later said the woman in the red bikini was also her, although the Daily Dot had previously confirmed that someone else served as the model for that character. Karen Gravano
Wow.
of Mob Wives Try fame filed a similar suit the same year, saying that the character of Andrea Bottino, I think is how it's said, was based on her life and likeness. Both cases have now been tossed out of court because fuck you, money bitches. Fuck you.
Pretty much.
Nobody cares about you that much to put you in a video game.
The Division of the Supreme Court of the State of New York ruled that the lawsuits
It went to the
must
Supreme Court? What?
Point wasted.
The other courts didn't know what to do. They're like, this is stupid.
That's awesome.
Someone else can deal with it.
It went to a state Supreme Court. That's one step below a circuit judge. That is fucking ridiculous.
Ruled that the lawsuits must fail because the defendants did not use plaintiff's name, portrait, or picture in the game.
Holy shit. You don't say. Like
As to
like
Lohan's
the
claim
comment.
that the avatar in the video game is she and that her image is used in various images, the defendant also never referred to as Lohan by name or used her actual name in the video game, never used Lohan herself as an actor for the video game, and never used a photograph of Lohan, the ruling says. Okay, what's your quote, Deldev?
Oh, I think I saw a random pedestrian that looks like me. Should I try and sue them?
Yes.
Someone responds, I've been spreading rumors about you. You can sue me if you like.
So, whether you wanted it or not, this lawsuit is
There it
finally
is.
dead.
It happened.
And for obvious
It is.
reasons, it's gone. And we don't have to worry about it ever again. I'm pretty much good with this article. Any comments on this before I do my outspiel and then give Doc
Nope.
his go?
You
Alright.
guys like town building games? Play Stonehearth, because that's what I've been playing.
Woo!
We'll be back in the after stream to play Rocket League. Steve's leaving, so that's a thing.
I'm actually going to
Yay.
set the time for that really quick. I need about a half an hour, so we're going to start at 8, if that's okay with you guys.
Works for me. We'll start at 8 with that.
All right, so after stream at 8.
After stream at 8 o'clock. Let's see. Let's start with follow us on Twitch, like us on Facebook, subscribe and like
And
us on
Twitter.
YouTube. Follow us on Twitter. I think we still have a Twitter. Feel
It's
free
out
to
there
send your
somewhere.
questions and comments to our Gmail inbox. I check it every day, despite the fact that I haven't received any emails from anyone. And other than that, thank you for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll let the outspiel go.
This has been Four Mics, the podcast where four dudes who know a little bit about a lot of stuff attempt to sound mildly entertaining on the internet. Thank you for watching, and good night.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Oh!